Well, it has been quite a week for the Obama administration. They've had three major scandals that they have been dealing with. The stream of new developments that raises questions about what this cloud of controversy could say about the administration as a whole in terms of how they operate. Michael Goodwin sums it up with his column today in the New York Post. He writes, "Revelations in recent days about the IRS playing political favorites, the massive phone grab at the AP News operation, and Obamacare's cost impact combined to demonstrate something that I have believed," he says, "for a long time. The Obama administration is both corrupt and incompetent." Ooh, big charge. Michael Goodwin, Fox News contributor as well. That's a serious charge, corrupt and incompetent.
Look, Martha, I think that any president who has these succession of scandals, I mean, any one would be enough to call into question the presidency. But to have a series of them all at once here in the fifth year of his presidency tells me that these are not isolated, that fundamentally they are connected. They all go back to the White House. They all go back to the president himself and his closest aides. So after nearly in his fifth year in the White House, his policies, his people, they're in charge. They're running everything. And they're doing a terrible job of it. So you think of all of the scandals of the last couple of years, whether it's Solyndra or the unions getting favored treatment everywhere. It's all about the president. It's all about the presidency. And you see that they can't really run the government. And when they do run it, like with the IRS, it's corrupt. And so I think that the combination is really deadly for the country at home and abroad.
Now, they would take issue with your claim that it all goes back to them. Right. And they really went on offense yesterday. And I thought it was interesting that you heard from David Axelrod and Robert Gibbs, both saying, you know what, you need to get those emails out there. They're almost, sort of shouting from the side mountaintop, giving some advice. But they declassified 94 pages of emails in the Benghazi issue, fired the temporary head of the IRS. And the AP answer is that Holder knew nothing, that was handled by a deputy, and that he knew nothing. Now, those excuses and those explanations will hold water with a lot of people out there. They'll say, see, the White House had nothing to do with this.
Right. But I think that the problem they have is with a couple of days of messaging and sort of superficial actions, little heads will roll, the old line is. I don't think that really goes to the heart of the argument, which is that you've had 5 years now. These are your people. These are your policies. To say that somehow you're not responsible for them defies the very idea of what it means to be president. These are people you put there.
Here's what I don't get. He's a second-term president. Right. He could, he could be the big person. He could say, this stinks. You're all fired. This doesn't happen in America. He has every ability in his position right now to take the high road.
Right.
Why not? Why not do it?
I don't think he has it in him. I mean, he's never taken the high road on anything. He's taken the aloof road, but never the high road. He's never really worked with anybody in Washington. He doesn't like anybody in Washington, Democrat or Republican.
You say he finds himself more and more isolated all the time.
Right. I mean, I think he's never built the bridges of personal relationships that, whether it's good or bad, that is how the world works. And so when you don't build those friendships when you have the opportunity, now when you need them, nobody trusts you. Nobody believes in you, and there's nobody trying to help him because he's never played ball with anybody. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, just that he has not governed. He's governed as though it's beneath him, and now it's coming back to bite him.
I want to close with a quick thought on this, because I thought this was actually the most chilling sentence in your entire piece. The idea that ordinary citizens hold the power has no meaning when the political class circles the wagons and the press looks the other way, and when the president accumulates more power and control.
Right. Well, I think
that's not America.
That's right. And when you saw Eric Holder yesterday testify and saying, I don't know, I wasn't part of this, who do we hold accountable in the Justice Department for the AP snooping if the Attorney General says, I don't know anything about it? I mean, so this idea that nobody in the top rungs of our government is responsible for Benghazi, the AP, the IRS, well, then what is the point of democracy if they're not responsible? I mean, they were elected to run these agencies. If agencies are not run well, who do we hold accountable?
Consequences.
Some
There's
bureaucrats?
a lack of consequences.
Right, it's not bureaucrats.
Michael Goodwin, as always, thanks. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you, Mark.
See you soon.